call the meeting to order.
The recording has started.
There we go. Sorry, I'm just pulling my papers together. Hold on. Okay. All right, so rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and item number 3 is minutes. To consider and act upon the minutes of September 14th. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Motion to approve. All in favor, sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Nan?
Aye. I think aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Item number 4, co-chair appointments to the Racial Equity and Justice Task Force. To hear and consider and act upon the following co-chair appointments to the Racial Equity and Justice Task Force. Selectwoman Nancy E. Lefkowitz of Reading Road, co-chair, and Gina Ludlow of Spring Valley Road as co-chair. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
And
Okay.
I would be proud to second it.
Okay. Discussion or comments? Gina, are you on the line?
Gina is working in a school and likely cannot get on the call, but
Okay.
If I may, I'd like to just say how thrilled I am that Gina has been nominated for this appointment, and I hope we'll have our collective support. She is an incredible activist and advocate and thoughtful, sound, reasonable, just really a great person, and I think will help do this work with integrity, and I'm just feeling really excited about the work. I hope you will support my nomination. It's just been a great joy to work with Gina, even in the face of really difficult and complicated subject matter. I think we're a really nice balance for one another. We challenge each other in a great way, and given the interest by so many residents in town, we really are just an engine and a force to kind of keep things moving, but there's going to be so much input, and I'm just really thankful to you, Brenda, for this opportunity, and Tom, I hope I will have your support, so thanks for the consideration.
Well, thank you, Nancy, and obviously we as a community have been through a lot over the last several months, and I do very much appreciate you stepping up to fill this role when my office was being inundated by phone calls and emails, and the community was, really needing to come together. I thought that this would be a very positive and important thing for our community to do, and I appreciate you stepping up to assist with this. It's going to be important work, and I know you will rise to the challenge and do a very good job, and I look forward to you and Gina's leadership on this committee. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you as well. I have no problem supporting both of these women for the position, and I appreciate them stepping forward. I did have a procedural question. I had shot this to the town attorney only because I'm not familiar with it, so my apologies. In the past, when I've served on committees such as, I served on a committee regarding building committees a bit ago, we elected the chairman at the building committee, or the chairwomen in this case. Is that not are we allowed to do this? And that's my only question. It has nothing to do with whether these should be the people, as I said, they have my support. But I had asked the town attorney, and he was not able to get back to me. Is he on the phone?
No,
I
he's not.
am
He
on the
has a
phone.
matter.
This is Attorney
Oh,
Baldwin.
you are? Oh,
Oh,
am.
hey, Jim.
I was just listening in. I didn't think there were any issues. Tom, sorry.
There's not. There's
okay.
not.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. I remember answering that question. I just can't remember who it came from.
You
so I
answered.
apologize.
You did answer it to me because I had asked that very question when we were setting the agenda.
Okay.
And
Right.
you had said to me that I have the authority to appoint the co-chairs of a committee if I choose to do so.
That's right. This is a creation of the by the Board of Selectmen, and the makeup is what they choose it to be. In fact, in the charge of the committee, it states explicitly states that one of the co-chairs will be a member of the Board of Selectmen. So anyway, it's all baked into it. But the short answer is, as First Selectwoman just stated.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate the clarification.
You're welcome.
So we have
That's it for me.
We have a motion on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Nancy, and I look forward to working with you and watching what you're going to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Item
And thank
number
you.
5.
I just want to say thank you again to Attorney Baldwin for all his hard work and diligence on this important matter and on this task force. So thank you to you.
Well, I second
Thank you.
that. We're very lucky to have such a fine town attorney. Awesome. He is. You're good. Okay, item number 5, Affordable Housing Committee requires RTM approval, a report from the Town Plan and Zoning Commission. This item was postponed from the 9/14/20 Board of Selectmen meeting to hear and consider and act upon the following resolution as recommended by the Affordable Housing Committee. Whereas the Town of Fairfield wishes to exercise its option to purchase 350 Quincy Street from Lisa Headley for the sum of $295,000 as more particularly set forth in real estate sales agreements between said parties, and whereas funds for the purchase of said property may be taken from the Housing Trust Fund as approved by the Affordable Housing Committee at its meeting of September 9th, 2020. And now, there it be resolved that Brenda L. Kupchik, First Selectwoman, be and hereby is authorized to enter into and sign contracts and expend such monies on behalf of the Town of Fairfield for the purpose of purchasing said property in accordance with the above and attached agreement. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And I'll second.
Discussions? Questions?
Yeah. Can I start?
Sure.
Great. First of all, thanks for the time to complete my due diligence on this item from last week. I was the one who asked for the postponement, as you'll recall. I'd also like to thank Mark Barnhart for about an hour-long conversation we had on this, the plan, my questions, comments, and his views, and those of the Affordable Housing Committee, as well as planning and zoning a bit. I was able to complete my due diligence, which included reading all the documents, reviewing them, as well as the appraisals, a site visit by myself, my meeting with Mark, as I mentioned, and I actually consulted with a couple of real estate people regarding the value of the property and any risk associated with. Just to clarify, I want to make sure people understand I am in favor of reaching the affordable housing moratorium as quickly as possible to hit that state provision to stop that 83G from being used against the town and its neighborhoods. I'm as frustrated and upset as many of the neighborhood groups out there when that provision gets used against the town to put forth some developments that may or may not add to those neighborhoods and be consistent. After talking with Mark, I understand why we would want to preserve this particular property. This just came on the market within the last couple of months, and really what the goal here of acquiring this property is to preserve our options going forward. I've also concluded, after reviewing the reappraisal and talking with some real estate people that, at least in the short term, there's very limited financial risk to the town and to this affordability trust fund, to owning this property for a while, preserving what our options are to maybe cobble together more properties, and do a public-private partnership in order to expand affordable housing in that area. But I would also like to see some regular updates and regular reports back on this property and better clarify what the next steps might be from the administration and the Affordable Housing Committee in the next number of months to a year. I don't want to own that property in the mid to long term. I want to preserve it in the short term and move it back into public hands, or private hands rather, to preserve and perhaps expand affordable housing in the area, as long as it's appropriate within that neighborhood. So I will support it with that understanding that the goal is to move this back into private hands as quickly as possible, to preserve and perhaps enhance affordable housing consistent with the neighborhood, and that we get regular updates back, and that this is what's deemed to be a short-term acquisition. I would also like to ask, Madam First Selectwoman, if at some point at a future meeting we can get a further brief on the affordable housing task force and what steps might be in place in this important issue. So, again, I thank you for the time and for your allowing me to speak now, and I will support the motion.
Okay. Nancy, do you have anything?
I don't. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
And Madam First Selectwoman, can we get report outs on those as well as a report from the Affordable Housing Committee, please, when we get a chance on a future
I'm not
agenda?
sure. I would encourage both you and Nancy to reach out to the chair of that committee and ask them for any information that you might want. I think, Mark, do they have their meetings? Are those meetings recorded for people to listen to?
Yes. The Affordable Housing Committee meets monthly, typically the third Wednesday of each month. But I'll be happy to provide updates as you see fit to this board or any other organization. I share Mr. Flynn's desire not to own this property in the long term. I basically indicated to him in our conversation that we wanted to at least have a period of time in which to explore those options, but it was not an indefinite arrangement. So I agree with him in totality.
Right, and that's what we've talked about as well. And I think it would be helpful if you could just send the link to the meetings to Nancy and Tom. You can always listen, and even the contact information of the chair and its membership. That would be probably really helpful for any questions they have going forward.
Yeah, it would be good to just get a report actually to the committee, to us as well, just so that it's on our agenda at some point. And it doesn't have to be elaborate, and it doesn't have to be repeated. But yes, I have listened to some of their meetings in the past, but I would like a report if we could at some point in a future date. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next item is to consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $60,548.23. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or comments? Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. Item number 7 is to hear and consider and act upon any other business which shall properly come before this meeting. And I'm going to give a update. You may have noticed in the past few newsletters, I've included dashboard links for both Fairfield and Sacred Heart universities, which link directly to their COVID-positive cases. However, it's come to my attention that It's been insinuated that the town was somehow not being transparent with this data, and I just want to be perfectly clear about how this process works. We have been very transparent from the beginning, updating our data page. The health department has their COVID data page every day, and I do want to thank our health department for their amazing and tireless work. They have been on the forefront of this entire pandemic and have been working just an incredible amount of hours and time to not only keep our community safe, but also performing contact tracing, and also informing the public through literally thousands of phone calls, emails, social media, videos, just an incredible amount of good work. The health department utilizes the Connecticut Electronic Disease Surveillance System to obtain the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases published on our website. The health department noticed that not all the university cases they were reporting to the town was on their dashboards, were appearing in that CTEDSS link, and therefore were not being reflected in the overall case numbers reported by the town. The health department initiated conversations with both universities and Connecticut's Department of Public Health to rectify these data reporting issues. The health department is continuing to work to resolve these issues and to provide accurate data. Until these data issues are resolved, the health department will be posting data obtained from the universities on our COVID-19 data page. Some of the reasons for the data reporting issues were use of an out-of-town, out-of-state home address when samples are collected, results in data reporting lag as those towns and states review their data and determine the individual is a student associated with a particular college or university that is out of town or out of state. How the lab results are being reported to the state can create misclassified cases and delays. State provider portal classifies cases a suspect until lab results are received and matched to cases versus faxed results, which require manual data entry versus electronic submission by the lab. Data reports to the Connecticut Department of Health from out-of-state laboratories can range from 1 to 7 days. Many Sacred Heart University students have off-campus housing in Bridgeport and other surrounding towns, and therefore the results may be reported in those jurisdictions and not technically Fairfield cases. Coordination of samples being collected at multiple sites for multiple reasons, including students who are ill, seen on campus health centers, on campus weekly asymptomatic screening tests by third-party contractors and off-campus walk-in testing sites, and private providers for individuals seeking their own results. I know it seems simple and black and white, but there is a lot involved in the reporting process. And I again want to thank our health department for their efforts and let residents know we are doing everything within our power to protect our community. And just for everyone's knowledge, our data can be found at www.fairfieldct.org/COVID-19 data. Is there any questions or comments regarding the COVID update? I do want to say that right now we have our last update from Fairfield University is a total positive of 42 cases with 1 recovery, and Sacred Heart University is at 99 positive with 28 recovery. And I'll open it up if anyone has any questions or comments.
I do, and I first and foremost want to say thank you for this update. It's incredibly informative, and I would just kind of push back on you saying it seems like you just made the comment like, it seems simple. It actually seems very complicated, so I appreciate you bringing this information to the forefront. This is a very high anxiety time for people, and clarifying the information is really important because I think in absence of people understanding how nuanced this is, how complicated it is, people take to social media or they take to kind of talking amongst themselves and don't have a full understanding, and so it becomes very challenging and scary for people. I wanted to reiterate my own personal confidence in the health department. Sans Cleary is excellent. He's been working around the clock. I called him this morning and spoke to him because I had gotten some inbound concerns about information, and he was very thoughtful and clear and reiterated what you shared here, that the information is out there for people, but again, lack of people's understanding on how to interpret it or a real understanding of what the missing piece was, I think was a cause for confusion and again, fueling already heightened anxiety. So I want to say thank you again for pointing this out and again reiterate my thanks and praise and just commend Sans and the health department and the team. And thank you, Brenda, for taking the time to update us with this.
No, thank you, Nancy, and I appreciate that. I think, you know, again, I agree. There, you know, I have to say, we get a tremendous amount of feedback every time I send out a newsletter on a whole host of issues, but I have to say, people have felt very confident in our health department and the work they've been doing, and people I haven't received literally a single email about concerns about the reporting or the numbers. It was, you know, there was a couple of local elected officials who had concerns, and that's why I wanted to share that update. But people feel confident in the work that the health department is doing, and and I didn't mean to say that it wasn't. It is complicated, but I think maybe some people might feel it's not, and it is complicated. That's why I said it for that benefit.
Yeah.
And so,
to continue to say that I think the concerns are that with the university students back, you know, people still need to be paying attention. There is this feeling of we're back in school, and there is quarantine fatigue, pandemic fatigue. And I see on social media and Snapchat the postings of the parties that are happening, and people have to remember that this is still ongoing, and until we have a sense, and while, you know, the numbers are going up and we're looking at what's happening around the country, that, you know, we do need to be paying attention and being careful and being calculated with our exposures and the risks we're willing to take. So I think that's where the concern comes in, and I also received inbound from some elected officials and residents just wanting to understand and to make sure that everyone was getting the information. And I think, you know, as I said, Sans was very helpful in clarifying the big picture data and where the issues were, and it was reassuring to hear how vigilant he has been to make sure that what the state has, what the schools have, match with what the town is represented in the town data.
yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
So the next item is just I wanted to announce the Park and Recreation Commission wanted me to share that the Tree of Hope at Sherman Green is lit for the Fairfield Equity Coalition this month in October. So Saugatuck Suites owner, founder of Al's Angels, Al DeGuido, donated a tree to the town that was planted at Sherman Green, and the Parks and Rec Commission voted at its July 2020 meeting to create a subcommittee to work with the community and perform outreach to organizations that help children and families in need in Fairfield. The plan is to offer different organizations and opportunities to light the tree for a month at the time in recognition of their work. And the first organization that has been chosen for the month of September is the Fairfield Equity Coalition, a youth-led coalition whose membership is made up of past and present Fairfield Public School students taking local action to reimagine Fairfield's definition of what constitutes a full comprehensive education. The coalition's goal is to push for equity policy changes within the schools while raising awareness on injustices within the community. Al DeGuido generously donated lights in the colors of the Fairfield Equity Coalition, and their mission of students and recent graduates working and advocating for equity fits in with the parameters of the charge of the Tree of Hope to approve year-long lights on the Tree of Hope with the stipulation other charities and organizations that benefit children or families in need may sponsor the tree of lights with the colors of their choice. So I hope the community will stop and take a look at the tree in the evenings, so they'll see the lights, and I just wanted to share that from the Park and Rec Commission. And the last item is to hear an update. I did an update last week, but I did have a meeting today with the gentleman, Mike Fazio, who and the tax assessor, to kind of just get an idea, a little bit preliminary idea of where they were. And I'm going to put on our October 5th meeting a reval update from Mr. Fazio from his company and the tax assessor, so they could kind of give an overall idea of how the process was working, how he did it, and he's going to be making some adjustments based on sales throughout the town. But I thought it would be an important thing because that is coming up, and I know there's a lot of anxiety out there. Well, I mean, some anxiety, let's just say, from residents about how that process is going to be, and he won't be able to answer individual questions about properties or things of that nature, but I thought it would be helpful if he gave an overall just view, overall update about the reval process, and so that you both, the Board of Selectmen and the public who wanted to listen in, could hear it. And then hopefully he'll be able to, we're looking at having some, neighborhood meetings where people can call in to like a Zoom type of thing and just ask general questions about the revaluation process. So I just wanted to let you both know that I'm going to put that on the October 5th meeting agenda.
Brenda, thank you. I look forward to that update. It's really critical, so I appreciate you guys putting that on the agenda. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And did either one of you have any other questions regarding any updates about the town?
I did have one, if I might. My understanding is the Strategic Planning Committee continues to move along, and there might even be a report coming out soon. Could you tell us where that stands and what next steps might be on that? Because I haven't heard anything for quite some time. Obviously, there's been other things going on.
I thought their report, I met with them, maybe right before COVID.
Right.
I thought they were pretty much done, but I haven't talked to them recently, so I'll have to check in.
That's fine, because I haven't heard anything either. So I just want, that's top of mind, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you, no.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, very good. Well, I appreciate the questions, and as always, we are here if you guys have any questions for myself or for Jackie or Tom or Jennifer. And if I have no further motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.